You need a strategy. You need to be strategic, especially as you're moving into an executive role. One of the biggest differences and most notable differences between people in a more individual contributor or manager role is that those people tend to think tactically and are more about the day-to-day. And that's, I do not diminish that value. That's super high value. And we need all of that to get things done in an organization. But if you're going to be an executive level leader, you need to start stepping up and thinking strategically, especially in a COVID world. In this world with the pandemic, one of the skills that is being required of leaders, especially C-suite leaders going forward, is to have a strategic view of how you're going to lead the organization onward to a place of stability and growth going forward. And that is true. And employees want to know that, as well as the board, as well as other leaders want to know that you're bringing that. So you need to be strategic also with your own career. So let's talk about what that means. First of all, I want you to get really clear about your vision and mission. What drives you as a leader of people? What's important to you? This relates to your values and extends those. As a leader of a company, what's important to you? As a leader of a line of business or in an industry, what is it that you believe in and you want to see? This is a time, this 2020 is the time to start bringing out that vision and mission, as well as you step into a leadership role, you need to have that. As an executive leadership role specifically. The next thing you need is a communication strategy. Leaders communicate differently than staff. They tend to, if you think of the executive summary that we've all heard of, an executive summary for anything is typically concise, clear, and it's confident. You make your point, then you outline your reasoning, just an outline, not super lost in details, and then you're going to recap the point and you're going to give people next steps. You need to begin communicating like this. This is one of the primary challenges of moving from like a manager role to a director or VP role, is to change how you communicate in this way. And I don't care whether you're communicating up to other executives, they are more likely to hear you. It will increase your visibility. You will be more likely to be heard and respected by those above you, as well as your peers, and as well as your staff, the people who are lower than you in the hierarchy. They too want to hear you have a strategic plan and communicate that strategy clearly. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're moving forward. Here's a couple of points I'm going to make, and here's what you need to do right now. So at any level you're communicating to, once you hit the executive level, you need to start communicating in this way. So you need a communication strategy. The next thing you need is a support strategy. And this was my biggest mistake outside when I wanted to get promoted to vice president. Many of you saw my story that I shared by email in terms of my desire to get to an executive level position and how frustrated I was. This is one of the biggest mistakes I had made. I didn't understand the value of a professional network. Typically, again, when you're at a manager level or below, you're able to find other people who do what you do. You're at a similar level. There are lots of employees, right? And so you form friendships internally. You might meet people at conferences. But once you hit an executive level, as we've already talked, there's a fewer percentage of people in leadership roles and right in an executive level and up. So you don't have as many people you can go to and chat with about your work problems because you're not really supposed to. It breaches confidentiality in some ways. And so you need to start intentionally forming relationships inside your organization so people can know more about what you do within the organization, as well as outside the organization, in your industry, with other leaders. These kinds of relationships, I want you to think about emphasizing mutual trust, mutual respect, and mutual service, where you're truly supporting each other. So you will need at some point in your executive career a confidant to brainstorm solutions to problems, and you need people you can trust to go to, and you're not going to have those within your organization. There just aren't that many people. Also, when it's time to look for jobs, that network outside your organization is going to be so helpful to you. So this is something you want to start doing, and you need this kind of support strategy in place now before you even start this kind of search. And finally, you need an execution and accountability strategy so you can be bold, continue to initiate, and continue to lead, and have someone and have some support, have an approach in mind where you have support to ensure that you execute and you have accountability for that.